This is it, my friends. This is the news. This is the trending topic, the story that is going viral on Twitter. You know, I got to be completely honest. I'm willing to bet a lot of people don't actually care about this story. I think we've beaten the dead horse to death. But Politico is chiming in. The Daily Mail is chiming in. And I guess I can only say this is the end of Ron DeSantis's campaign. Because the dude is lying about wearing high heels. And there's video proof that, dude is wearing high heels. But I must confess, I wake up this morning and I'm like, what's going to be the big story? And I guess because it's Halloween, there's, people's attention split. They're taking the kids out. They're doing Halloween parties and things like this for school. You can always track the strength of a holiday based on the news, right? So here's what happens. And then we'll talk about Ron DeSantis' high heels because there's a news story, new evidence. And first, I'll just say Ashley St. Clair has destroyed Ron DeSantis' campaign. But let me tell you about holidays. Halloween's not the most important holiday in the world, but people do want to bring their kids to the holiday party at school. They got to get their kids in costume. So what happens? People split their attention between their family and their work. What this means is there's going to be less news for two reasons. Politicians are less likely to be doing things. Corporate officers are less likely to be doing things. And journalists are less likely to write about the things they're doing at all or doing anyway. And so you end up with this. The 5 a.m. story from Politico. Ron DeSantis is probably wearing height boosters. Okay. I gotta say, there was a point where I guess I kind of figured Ron DeSantis is done. He went from being the front runner before Trump announced he was the favorite in the prediction markets. Actually, I think he was ahead of Trump a couple times. And now he's gone. It's over. Let's be serious. Was DeSantis ever going to beat Trump? There was a possibility. There was. But it was probably like 80-20. We knew that as soon as Trump got involved, he was going to sideline Ron DeSantis. But there was a hope early on because we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Many of us had been very critical of Donald Trump because of his obsession with 2020 and his unwillingness to talk about what this country needs to do. But that all turned around. Now I think we're seeing better plays by Donald Trump. Far from perfect, but we'll take what we can get, right? Somebody who's boisterous and arrogant and can be an effective leader. Ron DeSantis is showing us every day he can't be. Yesterday, so here's what happens. Yesterday on the Patrick Bet-David Valuetainment podcast, Ron DeSantis is asked, are you wearing high heels? And Patrick Bet-David pulls out a pair of boots. And Ron DeSantis goes, I can't accept those. I can't accept those. Ron says that he's 5'11". Politico published this morning, I kid you not, an expose investigating Ron DeSantis' high heels. And I must say, I think it's Ashley St. Clair's fault. Okay, so here's what happens. This meme about Ron DeSantis wearing high heels, it's been around forever. It's been around for a long time, and people have posted about it. But there was no news, no story. It was kind of just in the background. In fact, I think going back to February of this year, people had talked about Ron DeSantis wearing high heels. Ashley St. Clair reposts this video and then posts a video putting on these super high boots. The DeSantis campaign takes the bait because they're the worst campaign staff ever hired. I want to say this, okay? If you work in politics, the three people I think are the worst communications people I've ever seen: Christina Pashaw, Jeremy Redfern, Brian Griffin. It's all, wait till you see the response to Politico. But I do want to stress, I kind of don't care about this story, but I do think that this is the final nail in the DeSantis coffin, the DeSantis campaign coffin. And now you've got DeSantis supporters losing it. Man, I don't know what happened to these people. They went nuts. I don't care if it's Trump, DeSantis, or whoever, but the DeSantis people really lost it. And now they're tweeting up a storm, and there's some bickering back and forth, which we'll read. But sure enough, this is it. I think after Ashley St. Clair made this video, we on Timcast saw it, amplified what was already going viral from Ashley's video, and it's a snowball rolling downhill. Ashley does this video. We then do a video Other people then do videos, and then the tides cannot be stopped. Now, someone made a really great point yesterday on Timcast IRL. They said that if Patrick Bet-David asked Ron DeSantis about how tall he is, and Ron smiled and says, well, I identify as 6'2", they would have all laughed, and that would have taken it. Probably not saved him from these awful videos. Let me do. Can I? Where's this tweet at? Take a look at this tweet. Okay, we're gonna zoom in here. Look at this. It's really annoying how they made this video. Dude, just show me right there. That's crazy. Okay, this is what's basically causing this video. October 28th. You can clearly see there ain't no foot in that boot. So here we go, baby. I do want to mention that this is sort of about the aggregate polling and Ron's collapse. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you understand. This is your news for the morning. This is what's trending on the internet. This is the big topic with the expose on multiple platforms. This is what you get. Happy Halloween, everybody. In the last few weeks, Politico reports, posts mocking Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' strangely shaped cowboy boots have racked up millions of views on Twitter and TikTok, with online sleuths trying to determine whether he's wearing height-boosting insoles to pump himself up against a 6'3" primary frontrunner with a penchant for nicknames, who reportedly considered calling DeSantis Tiny D. Wow. That's a good one. If the 2001 Yale baseball team roster is to be believed, DeSantis stands at 5'11". I don't buy it. I don't buy it because you can look up photos of DeSantis and his wife, and he's wearing high heels. Unless, like, his feet, look. Okay, I got to say this. Maybe Ron DeSantis lost both of his feet in some kind of serious accident. I'm not being funny. No, many of you may be laughing, but he maybe lost his feet in some kind of accident, and he only has the heels of his feet. And he actually is 5'11". Sure. Posters have sketched over photos of the boot showing where they think DeSantis' feet sit inside. Slay Queen captioned one TikTok user. Hashtags like Paris Fashion Week and Mall Goth Fashion abound. And former President Donald Trump himself even shared one of the posts on Truth Social. It sounds vain to fret over height in a political race, but DeSantis has reason to worry. Over the last century or so, taller candidates have tended to have an advantage in general elections, with the notable exceptions of former President Obama, who is shorter than Romney, and Biden, who is shorter than Trump. 3 top experts in the field say the cowboy boot truthers may be onto something. Okay. Politico actually reached out to boot manufacturers, and this one's interesting, right? Take a look at this image. Politico's actually compiled more evidence than we did. So what they say is, see right here. So for those that are just listening, I'll explain. You can see the top of the cowboy boot. What the boot makers all explain is that cowboy boots are designed to fit snugly around your leg, not to be wide. The fact that you can see his boots means the tops are widened for some reason, likely because they needed to buy oversized boots so they could jam lifts in. They mention that it's possible. Here, take a look at this picture. Like, come on, it's obvious as obvious can get, okay? Like, where is his foot supposed to be, and what is his foot shaped like? Why is this massive? Okay. Here's what they said. Ron could have got custom-made boots with lifts that would have made it really easy to hide. I think there's a reason he didn't. Because if people saw the custom boots, they'd say he bought custom boots. So Ron is telling the truth when he says they're off-the-rack Lucchese boots. Yeah. And then they jammed a block inside of it to make him taller. Look at the shape of Ron DeSantis' foot. If this is actually like, if Ron isn't wearing high heels, he has very, very, I don't even know what you'd call it, not wide, but massive ankles. His ankles are huge, I guess. I'm not going to read everything they say because I really don't care all that much, but take a look at this. Yo, you can see it. You can see his feet. He's on his tippy toes. That's crazy, dude. And other people are pointing out like, dude, how small are his feet? So I want to show you this. Let's talk about Do we have a statement from where's the statement? They got a quote from the DeSantis campaign. And experts have done blah 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 blah. I love it. Where is it at? Let me pull it up because I think it was Brian. No, what? They don't have. Oh, maybe they removed it. That's interesting. Was it? Hold on. No, there we go. It's a Y, not an I. We got it. DeSantis' campaign denies the allegation that he's wearing lifts. On Monday, DeSantis told podcast host Patrick Bet-David they're just standard off-the-rack Lucchese boots. In an email to Politico magazine, DeSantis' press secretary Brian Griffin writes, considering the fact that Politico magazine admittedly spent money to consult boot experts to run this hit piece, on DeSantis tells you all you need to know about their journalism. The governor doesn't pad his boots, but if he ever needed anything to line a pet cage or fold up and wedge under a table, that would be the highest and best use for Politico magazine. Oh, they are the worst PR people I have ever seen. I don't care about anything else, okay? Maybe this story is not about the boots. Maybe this story is about one man who is so stupid, he hired stupider people than him. I'm just absolutely impressed by this. I will tell you, the first thing you do, shut up. I think they're spiking DeSantis on purpose. I bet they told him to wear the high heels. I bet they said, Ronnie boy, wear the high heels, and then everyone, look at that. This is crazy. Here you go, right at the end. There's no foot there. I bet they told him to do it. I bet they told him to do it because it will destroy his campaign. My conspiracy theory is that if Trump and DeSantis shared the ticket, DeSantis as your kind of boring policy guy, mild-mannered, is going to help balance out Trump. Instead, they whisper sweet nothings into his ears and say, you're going to be the king. It's you, not him. Wear the high heels. Let us answer the press. Let us send the messaging out. And Ron was like, well, okay, I guess. Man. See, this is why Ron's VP material. Great policy, good governor. No, not a smart guy. Not a smart guy at all. Did you think nobody would notice you were wearing high heels, dude? Tell me your foot's in there, okay? Show me your floppy, broken foot. If you... Come on! So here it is. 538's national average. Nikki Haley, 25 to Trump's 75. DeSantis still doing a little better than Haley in this McLaughlin poll. And that's it. But there are a few polls. Harvard has Haley behind DeSantis. Harvard actually has DeSantis at 30%. I don't see DeSantis being able to survive this. I don't see it. We got this tweet from Mark Dice. He says, we're going to have to start asking about Ron DeSantis' boots every day. His fans flip out almost as bad as the libtards do when you misgender someone. This is already fun. And then 2 boot emojis. He says if Trump loses in 2024, of course the DeSantis people will blame Trump supporters when they themselves fractured the party and aided Democrats by attacking Trump instead of uniting behind him. Typical leftist tactic. Blame others for what they themselves are guilty of. I'm gonna correct the record for both you, Mark and Pedro. Pedro responds, this guy is completely incorrect. Trump opened the primary by suggesting DeSantis is a pedo and pushing the lie that George Soros endorsed him. Only Trump people said from the start they won't back an alternative. Some even said they actively work against DeSantis if he's the nominee. He's already been confirmed that if you are coordinating with Democrats against DeSantis, including people who are effectively part of the campaign, they have used actual leftist tactics like filing bogus ethics complaints and amplifying complaints filed by Democrats against DeSantis. His team tried to get journalists fired like yours truly, but I'm not the only one. And I know for a fact that high-profile MAGA celebs have been enlisted as attack dogs by Team Trump. I was notified ahead of time, in one instance, by someone who had been called upon to go after me. Absolutely no one has done more to divide the GOP than Trump and his goons, up to abandoning and burning friends. It's not even close. Oh, man, there's so much to correct there. If Trump loses in 2024, it will be because he already lost in 2020, oversaw more losses in 2022, and has surrounded himself with people who figured out how to grift regardless of the outcome of elections. Trump created the model where he raised $250 million after losing to Biden in 2020 by promising to overturn the results. He didn't. He used the money on himself, on his legal bills, Melania's hairstylist. The people around him understand that he doesn't have to win for them to keep their mansions and cars and luxury lifestyles. He just has to remain the center of attention, the eternal damsel in distress. You know, Pedro, this reads like one of those leftist memes, overly explaining, like verbose. And that's the thing that the left doesn't understand, okay? Now, it's probably true that Trump's got campaign people targeting his competition. You think it's just DeSantis? They're probably going after everybody. But of course, DeSantis was the real threat. DeSantis was actually the predicted frontrunner. He was in the prediction markets ahead of Trump. Why wouldn't Trump go after him? Spare me any of your, you are a bad person for dividing. Welcome to a primary. Children. Do people not know what primaries are? No one has done more to divide the GOP than Trump. Now, hold on there a minute. Why is Ron DeSantis running for office? Why is Ron DeSantis running to be president? You would have to be an insane person to think that you're at the time when Ron announced, he could have stopped, looked in the mirror and said, guys, we can't do this. Trump is going to win. You're not going to beat him. Let's not do this. And guess what? There was a comfortable, warm seat for Ron DeSantis with a nice little vice president right above it. And he could have had it. He could have been the president of the Senate. He could have been the vice president. But instead, Ron DeSantis decided to go up against Trump and all of his supporters. And here we are. A Halloween morning, boring news cycle where I'm talking about a guy who will never be president. Okay, look. Is it possible that Ron wins? Of course, it's a possibility. I would say it's very, very slim. But I must stress, Sir Pedro, I think that, we've had Pedro on the show, I think a couple times. Good dude. And Dave Rubin. And I feel like y'all are oblivious to the apocalyptic mess that is the DeSantis campaign. And either you're ignoring it or don't care. But I've talked to a bunch of people, and I'm not gonna call them out, but prominent, high-profile conservatives who have not attacked DeSantis or Trump tell me they're getting attacked by DeSantis, by his campaign. I don't want to drag them. I had one guy come in and say, are you getting attacked by like DeSantis people? And I laughed and I was like, that's an understatement. Man, they won't shut up. And then he told me, yeah, they started coming after me all because he said Trump is clearly going to win the primary. And that was it. And then all of a sudden, a barrage on Twitter of people insulting him, calling him stupid, calling him a cultist. And he was like, what just happened? You know what I think it is? I'm telling you, the plan was to make it so Ron did not team up with Trump. That's it. Unless some miracle happens. Because think about it. For what purpose would any campaign have to start insulting prominent conservative and libertarian personalities when they say something moderately critical of DeSantis? No. The strategy would be to woo them. No. You see, here's what I think. They want to make sure DeSantis doesn't team up with Trump. They want to make sure every Trump supporter hates Ron DeSantis with passion. I like Ron DeSantis. I just think that he's really stupid. I think he may be one of the stupidest guys in politics. I'm going to say it. I've said for a while he was our best governor. Why? His policy was good. He seemed to have been paying attention. Perhaps it was his wife. But now I think he may be the stupidest person in politics because you can't screw up this many times. You cannot screw up this many times and have it be an accident. His brain just don't work. Talk about a dumb person. Why? Dude, fire Christina Pashaw, fire Brian Griffin. The statement that he gave to Politico, oh, holy Lord have mercy. What was your goal? Let's play a marketing game, my friends. Ask yourself, when taking any action, what is the outcome that you want? Okay? Now, let's say you're on the DeSantis campaign and news is coming out, going viral because there's nothing else to talk about Ron wearing high heels. And what's your strategy? Do you want Ron to be viewed as strong and confident? Okay. All right. Well, the high heels thing is bad then. Politico magazine emails you saying they're going to be running a hit piece. What is your goal? Do you want more attention or less? Okay. Less attention. This is where we get into top level, top tier PR. Top of the top, cream of the crop. You need a distraction. You need a counter story, and you need a big one. And you need to drown out negative news with something else. Typically, what you'll see from a lot of these campaigns and celebrities is they'll announce something or leak something. So what'll happen is when the Politico reporter emails Brian Griffin and says, does Ron DeSantis wear high heels? You have the campaign leak a tax return to another journalist at Politico or to this guy. And this guy then gets distracted and chases the bait and says, whoa, hey, man, look, I don't want to be harping on about high heels. Like, it's a boring story. It's ridiculous. Everyone's probably rolling their eyes. I bet half the people who normally watch my videos didn't even watch this one. I get it. This is the big news today. It's Halloween. People aren't really paying attention to much else. I'm sure there'll be some other news, but maybe we'll do some cultural videos today. And you get this guy to be like, do I want to write about high heels or do I want to write about Ron DeSantis' tax returns? Tax returns, baby. And guess what? They ain't all bad. It's a political debate about whether or not he made enough money or didn't make enough money. They don't know what they're doing. But I tell you this, baby 5th grade level PR is you don't respond to the email. Brian Griffin is either intentionally trying to destroy DeSantis or is the stupidest person in PR, in communications. The stupidest. I got to say, I will never back Ron DeSantis at this point, because he had every opportunity, every step of the way to fire these people. But he won't. He won't do it. So you know what? There you go. There's your 21-minute video on how stupid Ron DeSantis is. Have fun, DeSantis supporters. Y'all are nuts. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all then.